Hey everyone. Yeah, this is turning into a daily thing, isn't it? Anyway, as you know, we got the whole thing set up on this door except for that little part right there. We actually went out and found some stain that actually is going to match, which is surprisingly. So the top one looks like it has a little bit of red hue to it, but that's because of the the shellac that's on it, I think. But there's the red chestnut that we're using here. This is still a little wet, but we're gonna show you. I had to add a filler here because this is actually not a full piece. This is just a J channel, but not J channel, but you know what I mean. Look at that. It's like almost a perfect match, close enough for me. And then I did some paint stripping here with a good old heat gun. Now, sometimes, you got really good strippers out there like Speed Heater and things like that. That would be awesome to have. I don't have the budget for it. So, what I've been using is this little tiny Wagner. I actually got this. I do wiring, automotive wiring on the side, and I actually got that to do shrink tubing and things like that, but it works decent on paint. And it looks rough because I was only using a 1-inch because concentrated. It actually made it through 4 layers in one push versus individual layers. You know, it just kind of worked out that way. Now, let's go over here to this side. Notice something looks a little different here. There's this big groove here where they put drywall right over the top of the plaster on top of the lath. So there's like frickin' inch and a half of material there or more. But this sticks out because obviously the plaster was flush with the jamb, but they put drywall over the top of it. So this is the 1/2 inch. I think it was 1/2 inch. Doesn't look like it, but I'll measure it again. Drywall sticks out proud of the wall now. So what do you do with the jamb? Well, what they did is they put a piece of filler strip in there and painted it white and got paint everywhere doing it. And that's just not going to do it because we need to have it stained. So the reveal, because there's, in woodwork, you can kind of see it here, you have a reveal. About a 1/4 inch, maybe less. You can do probably 3/8 or so, but 1/4 inch reveal. And then you have the casing sit like this on there. Well, if we had that crap wood there, first off, it was broken. You know, they had little chunks here and there. They cut it off, and I mean, you'd see every little freaking break in the thing. But also, it was painted some off green or whatever. There's the white, which was painted pink at some point, I think. There's the back of it. You know what that is? You see the little edge there? That's the back of a baseboard. That's the back of an oak baseboard. Chances are that some of the baseboard chunks or pieces that they cut up to add for filler for the door jambs when they took out all the baseboard here. All the baseboard, all the casings, everything. They took everything out. Otherwise, like in another video I had, they should all look like that in the house. The upstairs looks like that. The downstairs all looks like that. Everything in the house is that way. So they took all the pediments, which is the top one. They took all the casement moldings, which are the side ones. And they took all the plinths, which are these little base blocks at the bottom of it. Because the way this works Unlike today, you have a piece of trim that's fatter on one end and thinner on the middle or on the inside. So it'll be thinner here, have like 2 steps, and then that's like half an inch on the other end here. There's a piece of trim, simple trim, that would butt up to it. On these houses, you had plinth blocks, and the trim would butt up to the plinth block, so it would give you an easy transition from there to there and there to there. Because the baseboards in these houses were very ornate. You know, even the casings are really ornate in these houses. And they all work together as a system. You can take certain elements out of that and modernize it. I don't know why you would. Ornate is really nice to have in your house. You modernize it and you kind of gyp yourself on what you sell your house at. Because you got to think, someone who is looking for an old house, and we passed up on, I think, 8 houses that had painted interiors. You know, the full painted trim, painted everything. And they painted over oak. You can tell when they paint over oak. It wasn't just like pine and they painted it like they did back in the day. Because the whole deal is back in the day, you put your best woods out there and you stained them. So your oaks, your maples, all your hardwoods, you put out there and stained them. Redwood, things like that. But pine was considered a lesser grade wood. It's a soft wood. So they just painted it. And it was usually in houses that the people that bought the house or built the house didn't have a whole ton of money to deal with. So they couldn't exactly go through and put the best baseboards they could in the house. Or the best trim or anything like that. They had to skimp somewhere. So they'll mill it out of pine, which was significantly cheaper, and then they just paint it. Though it's been stained before, it's stained in this house. Upstairs in our bedrooms, it's all stained wood. The floor is originally stained, but someone painted it later on. But really, you know, like I said, painting hardwood is just a huge no-no. You don't want to do it. Resist the urge to HDTVFI your home in that respect. But like this whole thing, they had the white baseboard. We have the gray stripe against the gray background. Yeah, there's much more elegant solutions to that. If you wanted a chair rail, put a chair rail up. If you wanted wainscoting, you could put wainscoting up. You could put anything there. The lace interiors, things like that, you could do any of that. It's not difficult to do, and it looks much better than that. Anyway, I'm not going to bash anyone with this, but it's not in keeping with the house. I know you like my little waste paper basket and my extension cords. And anyway, you'll see. I'll show you here. So here's another place where they had it. I took this off, but this is what it looked like when it was on. See all the old paint. And they notched it for the hinges, because the hinges didn't come out that far because it was set correctly. So when you had a door jamb, when you set the hinge depth, so obviously this was set before they put drywall up, you would set this gap so that the hinge would stick out further than your trim. At least the ball of the hinge, you know, the hinge part, stuck out further than the trim, so you wouldn't have to cut around your trim to make it fit. Make sense? So like over here, this door, they had to do the same thing with, they added that piece in there. This isn't permanently attached, I just hung it there. But they added that piece in there, and you see the reveal, you're going to see that white and you won't see any stained. It's going to look like crap. It's going to look like absolute crap. So we're having to replace it. Now this is such a small, I mean, we're talking 1/4 inch by probably 1/2 inch reveal on it, that we may just do it in pine. It's not going to be real noticeable. If I wanted to do it completely proper and I could find the wood, I'd do a 1/2 inch by a 1 inch strip of oak. I'll just have to price it and see where it's at. Or 1.5 inches. Anyway, enough of me blathering on. This is kind of, little things. It's all in the details when you do stuff like this. It's all in the details. If you don't have the details right, you're not going to have a very good showing product at the end. We don't plan on ever selling this house. We plan on keeping this house for as long as we can. This is actually a dream house of ours. We're going to be putting radiators back in the house and everything. Getting rid of this electric baseboard heat, which is crap. Works good until you hit about -10, and then you better be comfortable in living in the 50s in the house. And that's with sectioning off the office and all the other rooms that we don't use. There's only 2 of us, so it's not like we have a whole lot of kids running in and out of rooms and have to heat the whole house. The other thing, it's all full of fun stuff here. So we tried this stuff. We don't drink. We don't smoke. But we were looking at the proof. It's 80 proof. And you can use that to pick up little damage to the shellac and the woodwork. It'll slowly remove it. If you really wanted to do a museum quality restoration, you could slowly remove layers and layers and layers of buildup, dirt, smoke, whatever, off the woodwork. And it's relatively slow. It's a lot of work. It's good for violins and cellos and things like that. Something that's worth a lot of money. As for the trim, we spent a good chunk of change on the trim, not going to deny. But really, it just sets off the whole house. And we're trying something better, which was suggested by Rose. Everclear, 151 proof. They do make 180 proof. I can't get that at Walmart. And that worked a little bit better. It worked about twice as fast. Obviously 80 to 151, but it's good for slow, methodical restorations. Anyway, I think I blabbed your ear off enough. This is one of the longer videos I have, 13 minutes. Guess rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll probably post something tomorrow. All right, talk to you later. Bye.